Hello. Welcome back. And today I'm going to be talking quickly as a recap of what this video series is about for those that perhaps are joining us today. Basically, the video series is about losing weight compassionately. And this is by doing very simple changes in behavior over a long period of time to lose weight slowly. The reason we want to lose weight slowly is to allow for the hypothalamic set point, and that is what weight your brain thinks you are, to come down slowly, and so that you don't regain the weight easily. These changes are based on physiology, and they will help you shift your hormonal profile in a more positive direction that will help you to promote weight loss. So having said that, let's dive deep to look at Glucagon-Like Peptide 1, which is part of step 7 on how to lose weight compassionately, and that is to exercise 3 times a week for an hour. And with exercise, Glucagon-Like Peptide 1 increases. So let's draw that. So we have here a stomach and then the small intestine right here. As we eat, we have food, and as the food's been eaten and coming down into the stomach, Glucagon-Like Peptide 1 is actually released into the circulation. So there's an increase in Glucagon-Like Peptide 1. And that is through a neuroendocrine mechanism. This is released from L cells of the small intestine. As the food actually travels through the stomach and into the small intestine, it's going to have fat and it's going to have glucose, and that is going to be detected by the L cells. And we're going to get another surge of release in Glucagon-Like Peptide 1. Now, the first release of Glucagon-Like Peptide is to preempt the absorption of glucose into the circulation from the small intestine. So Glucagon-Like Peptide, what it does is it's an incretin, and what that means is that it's a hormone released from the gut, from the gastrointestinal system, that acts to increase insulin secretion. So if we got the pancreas here, it's actually a little bit close to the stomach, but anyway, it's going to increase insulin secretion, and it's going to decrease glucagon. So insulin, as we talked about before, decreases blood glucose levels. Glucagon increases it. So insulin decreases the glucose levels by promoting the insertion of GLUT4 transporters. So glucose 4 transporters into the membranes of muscle and adipocytes, fat cells. This provides a pathway by which glucose can flow into those cells and then be phosphorylated and stored or utilized to make energy as well. Now, so the first one is to start getting insulin ready and into the circulation for when the glucose comes in, so that you don't get a huge surge in glucose. Another thing that Glucagon-Like Peptide 1 does, it acts on the stomach to decrease motility so that it doesn't contract as much, it doesn't squeeze as much. And it also decreases gastric emptying. So that is, it stops the movement of food from the stomach into the small intestine. And so basically what's happening in essence, as the food comes through the small intestines, it's saying, stop, we don't need any more food, you're going to overwhelm us and we're not going to be able to digest it effectively. Okay, there are fibers, vagus afferent fibers. There are in the gastrointestinal tract, and that will move to a part of the brain called the nucleus tractus solitarius. Nucleus tractus solitarius. And glucagon-like peptide 1 actually affects these nerve fibers. So this is afferent. Afferent means the signal in the nerve fiber is traveling towards the central nervous system. Afferent vagus. Okay. Glucagon-like peptide 1 is also going to act on another part in the brainstem, so that's in the brainstem, and that's the area postrema. The area postrema, the neurons from here, will project and innervate the nucleus tractus solitarius. The nucleus tractus solitarius projects to the hypothalamus, so up into the brain, the paraventricular nucleus. We talked about that part of the brain before, and it is involved in satiety and appetite and so on, and all those things associated with that. The nucleus tractus solitarius also innervates the parabrachial nucleus, which is another area within the stem, the brainstem. The parabrachial nucleus will then innervate the arcuate nucleus. So this is another part of the hypothalamus, like the paraventricular nucleus, and we've talked about this quite a few times before. And it's the area that doesn't have the blood-brain barrier that can detect the hormones such as leptin, such as insulin, such as ghrelin, brain-derived neurotrophic factor. And so it has also been associated with satiety and appetite and regulation of those types of feelings and behaviors. And okay, there's one more area of the brain that I would like to cover, and that's the amygdala. So from the parabrachial nucleus, the neurons project to the amygdala, and the amygdala is responsible for attaching an emotion to food. So whether you want to avoid it or seek it out, or it's a preferred food, that is kind of marked. A tag is put to each food by the amygdala. Okay. Now with increased exercise, which is what this was all about, with increased exercise, you get an increase in glucagon-like peptide 1. So it makes sense that perhaps the increase in glucagon-like peptide 1 and perhaps the decrease in ghrelin observed in a lot of studies, not all studies, there is a little bit of conflicting data when it comes to ghrelin, and perhaps the increase in brain-derived neurotrophic factor as a result of exercise are contributing towards the decrease in appetite during that transient period whilst you're doing exercise and a bit afterwards. There's possibly other hormones as well that are responsible for this effect. And with that, I leave you today, and next week we will look at the next step on how to lose weight compassionately.
And don't forget to like and subscribe down below.